Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. If you can hear me, can we just signify? If you can see my screen and you can hear me clearly. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Okay. Good afternoon. Can you hear me? Can you see my screen clearly?
I can hear you and I can see your screen.
Oh, beautiful.
Same here, sir.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. We'll be starting in the next 3 minutes. I just want to give some ground instructions so that we'll have a nice time together. Please, because we're quite expecting quite a number of people. So if you are not asking a question, please can you be on mute so that everybody can have a nice quiet time. But if you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself to ask the question. We'll just give 2 extra minutes and then by 1:05 we'll kick off the class. Thank you for joining. All right. Good morning to all. Thank you for joining today's class. We are going to be discussing things about Excel, and I want to appreciate you for creating time to be in here. If you have any issues with hearing me, maybe you can't hear me, feel free to put it in the comment section so that, or you can unmute yourself and clarify, and then we can see what we can do. Moving on, this session is being recorded. So in case for some reason you have to leave during the session or you cannot make it to the end of the class, you have the access to is recorded, and it's going to be, because we're also streaming live on YouTube, so we'll be able to go back to our channel Zen Consults and you would see the full class there. Or we'll also drop some snippets as we go. And yeah, so let's go into the class. This is Excel fundamentals. Okay, so about us, who are we? Zen Consults. We are a consulting company basically, and our mission is to provide Excel quality Excel training and consultancy to a wide range of clients, students, graduates, aspiring data analysts, finance professionals, sales professionals, and professionals that have to do with anything that is data related. So this is our first training, and it's, as you know, it's free. And this we also provide consulting services for those that, if, for instance, if you are a company and you want to build automatic templates, we also do that. So the consultants, we are two consultants. My name is Temida Yadebi, and I'm today's facilitator. I'm taking this class on Excel fundamentals. Second consultant with the team is Ibukun Oyediran, and that's it about us. We'll give you more information about how to contact us towards the end of the class. So who is this class for? Assumptions about you. Well, our first assumption is that you understand how to use a computer. And as minute as that is, trust me, it's really important. For instance, this is a mouse. In case you don't know, this is a mouse. When we say left click and right click, we assume that you understand what that means. If we say scroll up, scroll down, we assume that you understand what that means. And so also, this is a keyboard. And believe it or not, I've had a class where I was teaching and I said, press tab. And somebody asked me, please, what is tab? Where is tab on my keyboard? So this is tab, in case you didn't know. And this is shift. This is when we say press maybe asterisk. If I say press asterisk, shift 8. You hold the shift down, you press 8. If I say press up, down, these are the up and down arrow keys. For some of us, this is normal thing, but trust me, I have to cover up the basis here. So another example. So if you don't understand most of the things I just talked about now, please just drop off this call and go and get maybe a beginner Excel, a beginner computer training or something. And that will be best for you. But in this case, that's what it is. We also assume that you have Excel running on your system. And we look at the various versions of Excel. Now, this is a beginner course, right? But even veterans can learn a thing or two. So if you have been using Excel for a while, maybe you're in finance or you're in HR, or you're in any department in your office and you have actually been using Excel for a while, you can still pick up one or two things from this course. Just see how you can apply whatever you're learning to your current work. Okay, so I mentioned versions of Excel earlier, and there are various versions of Excel. We have the Office 365 subscription-based version. We have the Office 2019 one-time purchase, Office 2016, Office 2013, Office 2007, and Office 2003 and earlier. I mean, if anybody is still using, I doubt if people still use this kind of Office. But if anybody is currently using this kind of Office, my advice is just get another one. Just get another Excel. Get another Excel installation. So somebody might be asking, how do you know which Office, what kind of Excel I have on my laptop or my system on my laptop? So if you open Excel, I have my Excel open here. Let me just bring it out here. So this is Excel. If I go to File and you go to Account, you will be able to see, I can see here mine is Office 365. So if you go to, again, for some, if you're using 2010, your ribbon might look different from mine, but that's not an issue. Just go to File, go to your account, you see your Office installation there. And that's that about that. Moving forward now, before we get into the meat of how to use Excel and the various things that Excel can do and how you can really maximize Excel, you want to look at some soft issues on how to maximize Excel. So the first thing that I'm going to recommend is you get your laptop out and you follow along in this class. Some of us might be watching on our phones, some of us are watching on our laptops, some are watching on our tablets. I don't know what device you're using to watch this, but the best way to get the best out of this course is to get your laptop out and follow along as we're working on this course. You have to be practicing along. That's the best way to get your to really maximize this course. We sent out a mail and we also sent it to our WhatsApp numbers the source file for this course, because there are some data. If you when we sent out the WhatsApp blast, we noticed that some people did not get it for some reason. I don't know why, but we also sent it to the mails that we got. So if you have that file, ensure that you open the file and you follow along. If you don't have the file, just open a random Excel file and follow along. Please, can we still see my screen? I'm getting a report that some people cannot see my screen. Is there anybody on this call that can see my screen clearly?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yeah, I can.
All right. Thank you. So I guess maybe it's the network of the people that are not. Okay, screen sharing. Thank you. Okay, so as I was saying, the best way to maximize Excel, make sure you follow along. If you have the, what's it called? If you have the Excel file we sent out, please open the Excel file and let's follow along. If you don't have the Excel file, open a blank Excel file and try to just practice some of the things that we'll be doing. Okay, moving on. Also, to maximize Excel, you have to develop what I call a good lazy attitude. Good lazy, what does that mean? Well, bad lazy is when you don't want to work at all and you don't care about the quality of your work. Your boss says, give me a report, and you just say, well, I can't do it. I don't care about it. And you just do rubbish or you just do one nonsense, ugly thing and send it out. There are errors and everything. So that's bad lazy, right? Now, good lazy is the one I think every analyst, everyone that's working with Excel, anyone that's working in data science, anyone that is doing anything that has to do with data, you should always have a good lazy attitude. Now, what that means is you are looking for the easiest, the quickest, and the most accurate method of getting the work done. So Excel is a powerful. Sorry, please, as we are coming in, let's try to mute so that, except you have a question or you have a comment, please let's all be on mute so that each person can, have a clean and clear audio. As I was saying, good lazy is when you're looking for the easiest and the quickest and the most accurate method of getting the work done. Excel is a beast, and we're going to look at some of the things that it can do. It can really, really, I used to think Excel was just a spreadsheet that you just enter numbers and that's all. But as I got to learn about Excel, I discovered, man, Excel is a real beast. So Excel can get that work done for you in the split of a second. You just need to find out that method that is easier for you and that is quick. For those that are professional Excel users, you use a lot of keyboard shortcuts and everything, but you need to look for it. Yeah. So I said here that any routine report that takes a whole chunk of your time can always be simplified. If you are doing a report monthly, you're doing a report weekly or daily, and that report always takes your time, there's always a way you can automate the report. And so if you look for it, I said Google is your friend. Just go online and search for it, and you always find something. So these are just some of my tips on how to maximize Excel. All right, so getting started. I'm assuming that we are all with our laptops. We have our screen in front of us, and we are about to get deep into Excel now. All right, so the first thing is workbooks. What are workbooks? Well, a workbook is like a book, while a worksheet is like a page of a workbook, right? Now, how do you create a blank new workbook? So in this class, I will be showing us there are different ways of doing the same thing, different ways of achieving the same thing. I don't know why, but such is life. So there's always a long, boring method, and there's a shortcut way of achieving whatever you want to achieve. So let's say I want to create a brand new workbook. Let me open my Excel. I'm back here in my screen. So let's say I want to create a brand new workbook, right? I can either go to File. That's my backstage view. By the way, like I said, depending on the kind of version you have, you might not see everything I'm seeing here. You might not see everything I'm seeing here. You might see, your own might look different. You might be using 2007. That is kind of bluish. That's a blue ribbon and stuff. Well, that's fine. So if I go to my backstage view and I go to New, and I click on blank workbook, that opens, this is another workbook. I can see that they can see workbook 2. Let me cancel that. That's the long method. I can also go to home and click on this blank workbook again and open another new workbook. That's a long method, and that's not what we're going to be doing. So what we're going to be doing is the press Control N. We're going to learn a lot of keyboard shortcuts, and the more we use them, the better. So Control N also does the same thing we just did. So if I press Control N, that opens up a new workbook for me to use. Okay. Now, sometimes you don't want to start with a blank workbook, that is an empty canvas, right? You want to create a template. You want to start from a template that somebody has created. So you can create a template nice and easy. If you go to the same file and you go to open, or sorry, you go to new, I can see there are different templates here. Maybe I want to create a monthly budget. I want to create a weekly budget. I want to create an organizational chart. There are millions of templates I can click from. So if I click on this, let's say I have a loan, I want to get a loan from a bank. I can click on the template and I can click on create. Once I create it, it will open that template, to download the template to my system. And I just have to make some edification. But we're not going to use templates in this class. And personally, I also don't like using templates because sometimes templates, it doesn't give you the command over your workbook. You want to have control over the workbook. You want to ensure that the workbook does exactly what you want it to do. So we are not really going to use templates in this class. I'm going to work with the workbook. Okay, so save and save as. Control S, very, very important. I cannot overemphasize how important saving is. You always want to save, always. And I can see here, this book says book 1. Because it says book 1, I know it's not saved. So I can press Ctrl S and then pick a location. I can go to more options here. I go to browse. I select where I want to save it. Let's say I want to save it on the desktop. I want to just call it Excel Fundamentals. So I can type Excel Fundamentals and I press OK. So I can see it has saved the workbook and it is saved on my desktop. Right? So let's say I make a change here, change, and I type something, I type blah, 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 blah. And let's say I want to now create a new workbook and start from this same place. That's what we call save as. That is, I don't want to just save this workbook. I want to create a copy of it so maybe I want to test something, maybe I have a macro I want to test. So I can save as. Again, there's a long method and the short method. I can go to File, Save As, then the same place I can go to Browse and then save it as another workbook. Or I can press the command F12. If I just press F12 now, F12, that opens up that Save As dialog, and I can go and save it in another folder or another place like that. So I'm assuming that we all are getting everything I'm saying. What I'm saying is really, really basic. There's nothing, there's no big deal in everything I've said. It's just simple. Create a blank new workbook, create a new template, then save or save as. That's what I've said so far. And those are the shortcuts for those commands. We are going to go further and understand the screen. This is very, very important. And like I said, my screen might be different from your screen, right? My screen might be different from your screen. And depending on the version you have, that will depend on what you see. So we'll just look at the various things that we can see on my screen and the various things that it does and how you can, maneuver those things. Number one is the title of the document, like I can see. So this book, obviously, I've not saved it. That's why I was calling it book 1, right? Then you might or might not have this search bar. You might or might not have this search bar. So the search bar is you are supposed to type anything. Let's say you are looking for something and you have forgotten where it is. Let me bring up my Excel so I can show you what that does. So this is my Excel, right? And let's assume I want to use text to columns or something. And I've forgotten where it is. I can come here and type text to columns. Okay, you can't find that. So it's going to pick the things that look close to it. Let me see if I type bold. Yeah, so it tries to show me that it tries to just create that thing for me so you can see. In case you have forgotten where to find an action, you can always search for it. Sometimes it doesn't, sometimes it works. I personally don't really use it like that, but that's what that does. So over here, you can see this is the name of the person that is logged into this installation of Office. In this case, I'm the one that is logged into installation as Temidai, and that's why my name is showing there. Of course, you know your minimum, maximum, and everything. Now, number 5 is the ribbon. This box here, this red box, is what we call the ribbon. Let me bring on my Excel. So, as you can see here, this is the ribbon. This entire page like this. That's file, home, insert, blah, 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 up until this place. This entire place is called the ribbon. And in the ribbon, you have what we call tabs. So I told you that this is the data tab. So on the ribbon, you have the file tab, which goes to this backstage view. We'll come back there. This is the home tab. This is the insert tab, page layout, formulas. And each tab has, what we call groups. So for instance, under the home tab, this is called the clipboard group. My cursor is on clipboard. This is the font group, alignment group, number group, blah, blah, blah. So like that, you can see for each tab, for formulas, we have the function library, define names, and the rest like that. Under each group, what we call commands. So for instance, on the insert tab, I have the chat group. This is chat. If I want to insert a chat now, I'll go to the insert tab, I go to the chat group, and I'll look for one of these commands. Each of these commands can, so for instance, now this inserts a 2D chart and the rest like that. So that's the ribbon. Now, each tab has a collection based on what that tab does. So for instance, under the home tab, most of these commands here are the normal day-to-day things that people do. You want to copy, you want to paste, you want to format, you want to format your number and stuff like that. Under the insert tab, you want to insert something, you want to insert a pivot table, you want to insert a table, you want to insert pictures, you can insert pictures, you can insert shapes, you can even insert smart arts, add-ins, charts, and the likes. Under page layout, that has to do with if you want to print, and we're going to look at that towards the end of the course, various things that you can play with. So if you don't know how to print, this is where you go to, you make some changes on the page setup, you can scale it, you can remove the grid lines and stuff. Formulas has to do with formulas, obviously. You have the different types of formulas here. You have named ranges, which we're not going to talk about in this course. Hopefully in other courses we'll talk about it, and auditing and stuff like that. Data has to do with data. You want to import data, we're going to look at this very deeply in another course. We're going to have a course where we're going to dive deep in how to, connect data and to make some various dashboards from data and stuff like that. So you have the review tab for simple things like, you want to lock, you want to protect your sheet, you want to add a comment to the sheet. Then you have the view tab. If you want to see the normal, this is different ways of looking at your worksheet. Then you have your different zooms and the rest. Now you have the developer tab. Some of you might not have developer tab on. We're not going to turn that off for now, or we don't need it for now. And based on your installation of Excel, you might or might not see this help tab. This help tab is a new tab that just come into the latest versions of Excel. So if you're using 2013 and beyond and before, you might not see this. This is also another tab that you need to go to the back end to go and install. But if you don't have it, it's fine. At least you should have home, insert, page layout, at least up onto view. You should have those tabs. And right under the ribbon, we have what we call quick access toolbar. Now, for some people, their own quick access toolbar is up here. So this is my quick access toolbar, this box 8. Quick access toolbar. For some, yours might be up here. I might just have maybe save and undo or something. Yeah, because I use Excel a lot. So what quick access toolbar does is that most of the things that you use a lot, most of the commands you use a lot, you can put it on the quick access toolbar. So for instance, when I'm working, I do a lot of conditional formatting. So this allows me to go to home and then see conditional formatting here. I have it on my quick access toolbar here. I can just quickly access it from here. So we'll be wondering, how did I get mine down here? If you go to your, and this is why I said, please be on your laptop, make sure you're following along, you are typing and you are doing what I'm doing to get a feel of what we're talking about. And please, if I say something that you don't understand, feel free to ask me to quickly, recap so that you can quickly get what I'm trying to say. So if you go to your quick access toolbar on your laptop right now, you will see towards the end, there's this downward arrow stuff that says customize quick access toolbar. If I click down, there is an option at the end here to say show above ribbon. If I click on it now, my quick access toolbar has moved to the front, to the top rather. I can click on it again and bring it below the ribbon. I prefer mine below the ribbon. Some people prefer theirs above the ribbon. It's a matter of choice. You can customize your Excel anyhow you like, anyhow. Now, how do I bring these things into the quick access toolbar? Again, lots of ways, and there is a long, boring way, and there's a shortcut. I don't even know why Excel allowed for so many options, but hey, that's what we have. The long way is you click on this file, then you go to options. So again, let's do that again. File, options. When you go to options, you go down to quick access toolbar. Under quick access toolbar, you have a list of various commands. So let's say I want to increase font size. I can click on it and I can click add. Oh, I already have it there. Let me see. Insert a picture. I don't really use this, but you can click on it and just click on add, and it will show up right here. And if I want to delete any of these things, I can just click on it and click on remove. And I can also align them. I can move this up, I can move it down. If I press OK, this is the insert picture. So now I can click on it to insert a picture, and there you go, the dialog box for insert a picture. I don't need it, so I'm just going to remove it. So that's the long method. That's the boring method. And I don't advise anybody to go through that. I'm going to be showing us long shots. So you will choose the method that you prefer. For me, to add anything, all you need to do is to go to that thing and just right click. And you can see it here, quick access toolbar. Boom, here it is. I don't know why Excel, the designer had to make us go to file and options. Long story. But although you have more control over the board, that's it. So if I want to, maybe you use this as an accountant, this gives you comma style. If I put in a number here and then I click here, boom, it gives you the number style with the dot. Let's say I want to add this, I just right click, add to quick access toolbar. And of course, if I don't want it again, I can right click, remove, right click, remove, right click, remove. You can add as many things you want to your quick access toolbar, and you can move it either above the ribbon or below the ribbon. It's your choice. Okay, that's enough about the quick access toolbar. I'm assuming that we are all getting everything I'm saying. Oh, I'm too fast. Oluwatosin just someone just made I'm too fast. Okay,
Sorry,
let me try.
sorry,
Yes.
good afternoon. Please go back to how to make a short way on adding to quick access toolbars.
Okay, all right. Thank you for that. Sorry, I please, like he just did, if you have any question, if I skipped, I'm assuming you don't know anything about Excel. I'm assuming that everybody here is brand new to Excel. So if I say something and you don't understand, like he just did, feel free to nudge me and say, hey, Dayo, I'm moving too fast. So I said to add to the quick access toolbar, right click on the function you want. So let's assume, let me see. Okay, home bar, auto sum. So people use auto sum a lot. Or they use this field, just right click on it and you see add to quick access toolbar, and then boom, here it is, right? If you don't want it again, right click on it and then remove from quick access toolbar and it's gone. I hope that is clear.
Yeah, clear.
All right. Any other questions? Any other issues before I move on? Okay, assuming there's none. So I'll move on. So again, I was just trying to explain the various things you can see on your Excel screen so that people just see an Excel screen, they don't understand what's going on. It's not that complicated once you understand what each part of the screen does. Again, this is the title of the file, the workbook itself, right? This is a search bar. You can search for anything you are looking for. This is the name of the installation, the name of the person that owns this installation of Excel. In this case, maybe that's my installation of Excel. This is your normal, minimize, maximize. I said this is the ribbon, and under the ribbon you have tabs. You have the file tab, the home tab, insert, page layout, different tabs for different things. Under each tab you have groups. Under the home, for instance, you have clipboard, font, alignment. Under the insert tab you have different groups like that. Then under each group you have commands, and those commands are the things that you use to trigger things on your worksheet. And then below the tab, I said we have the quick access to, sorry, this for mine, this quick access bar is below the tab, but it could just as well be above the tab. It doesn't matter. To change the position, I explained that you can come to the edge here, click on this downward arrow, and then you can, show above the ribbon like this. Now is above. I click on it, show below, boom, now it's below. And then you can add or remove things from this quick access toolbar based on the two methods. Number one, go to File, Options, then Quick Access Toolbar, select, add. That's a long method. I don't believe anybody should be going by that method at all. The other method is you select. Let's say I'm on the Data tab and I use, let's say I use filter a lot. I can just right click and add to Quick Access Toolbar. Here, filter is there. Right click, remove. I don't need it. But you could do it on your own installation of Excel. It's your choice. Okay, I believe that is clear about the quick access toolbar. So below the quick access toolbar, we have what we call the formula bar. And the formula bar is really interesting. We're going to see how interesting it is in the next few slides. But basically what the formula bar does, by the time you look at what a cell is and how to use it, the formula bar shows you the actual contents of a cell. So for instance, I can see F12 here, and I can see F12 showing here. Now, if I press 3 here, I can see that this is 3 here. Formula bar also allows me to insert into a cell. So if I click on this cell and I type Temidayo, okay, that's my name, I can see it showing here. Now, what the formula bar also does, which I'm going to get to, is by the time we get to functions, if I type equals 3 plus 6. Now, on the face of this cell, I'm seeing 8. If I click on this cell, I can see that the formula bar is showing me the actual formula, which is 2 plus 6. If you don't understand this right now, no problem. We're going to talk about formulas in a bit. So just a heads up to what the formula bar does. Now, beside the formula bar, this is the formula bar. Beside the formula bar, we have what we call the name bar or the address bar, based on whatever you choose to call it. If I move here, you can see it, name box. If I move here, you can see it, formula bar. So the name box tells me the name of the cell. So for instance, this is cell K8, K8. We're going to look at cells and how to work with cells just after this, I'm pretty sure. So this is cell K8, I can see that. This is cell C5, and I can see that from the name box. If I scroll down, now there are different ways of scrolling. You can come here and come down and scroll, or on your mouse, you can use your scroll bar to scroll. I'm not using a mouse, I'm using a laptop. For some laptops, you can use 2 fingers on the trackpad and just pull up like this to the right and to the left, depending on however it's more convenient for you. So if I scroll down here and I click here, I can see that this is cell M77. And we're going to look at how to work with those things. It shows you here in your name or address bar. Okay. The next is the active cell. So the active cell is the cell that you have selected. So if I come here, this is my active cell now. The cell with this green selection, this is my active cell, my active cell, my active cell. We'll look at more of that later. The name of the worksheet, yes. So this is the name of the worksheet. Remember, I told you when the class first started, I said, this is a workbook. And in this workbook, imagine that the workbook is a book, like a normal book. Then you now have pages of the book. Each page of the book is called a worksheet. So now this is sheet 1. That's the name of this sheet I'm on. Just like I'm on sheet 1, that's the name of the sheet. And we'll look at how we can work with worksheets just after this, I'm sure. So let me just pen that for now. The status bar, okay. So this is the status bar. There is this stuff called, says ready here, and there is this macro recorder here. Everything here up until this place is what we call the status bar, right? And the status bar helps you to do some very quick analysis. So for instance, let's say I have some numbers in some cells. I can select all these numbers, and down here I can see a quick summary that, oh, all these numbers, the sum is 93. I have created 6 numbers, and the average of those numbers is 15.5. A quick summary. That's basically what the status bar helps you to do. And if I right click on the status bar, not here, down here, if I right click on it, I see a list of some things and I can add or subtract. Let's say I don't want to see the average. Let's say I want to see the minimum, let me add that. I want to see the maximum, let me add that. If I click away now, I select those cells. I can see down here, just by selecting, it just shows me that the minimum is 1, the maximum is 4, and the total sum is 93, the average is that. So that's basically what the status bar does. This one is for recording macros. We're not going to touch that now. That's an advanced thing. We'll touch that maybe in a later advanced class. Okay, so yes, next we have the page layouts, 14. Let me come down here. You can see these 3 things are all called the page layouts. It's basically for printing. So for instance, if I click on this one, this is what we call page layout view. It shows you the headers, and this, we're not going to deal with this. This is kind of advanced. And this also is another page layout view, but it's basically for printing, to be able to see what will be on each page when you print. So that's what that, and of course, the last thing here is the zoom slider. You can increase your zoom, reduce your zoom. I think 150 is the right spot for my own screen here. So basically that's what is on the screen. So when you see the screen, when you see the various parts of the screen, it shouldn't be new or scary to you. It's basically some functions, some commands, your status bar here and your zoom sliders here. I hope that is clear for everyone. I hope that wasn't too fast. Okay, no comments, no questions. So I guess I'm moving on. Oh, okay. So this one, I'm just going to go through it. Yes?
My question is, I didn't get how you added those values, those additional stuffs.
Okay, to the status bar.
Yes, the status bar and the one you did on the one down. Yes, minimum max and all this stuff.
Okay. So, like I said, this is the status bar. This bar here, this long strip here is the status bar. Right click on it. Once you right click on it, you see this. What will I call it now? Dialog box. That you can select what you want to see. So let's assume I want to also see numeral. I just select. If I don't want to see the minimum again, I can deselect it and I click away. Now, when I select something down here, it's only things that I've selected that will show. I think that's fine. Just right click. Most things in Excel or even in any application, once you right click, you always see, a dialog box that can show you, that can perhaps help you with something you're looking for or something you want to work on. So I think this is clear now. Any other question? Any other comment? I'm trying to, there's quite a lot I'm trying to go through today. The aim is to lay a very strong.
I can't join it, so I wanted to know how you activate on the toolbars, all those things up. How do you activate them?
I didn't get that. On this, you mean this quick access toolbar?
The one up. If you want to put in some stuffs that are there, yes, and you want to add it there. Like
okay, that's the quick access toolbar.
Help. You think?
Hello?
Hello? I mean the developer. I think.
Oh, okay. To show this one.
Yes.
Yeah,
if you want to add some, yes.
If you want to activate it, this is not the class for that, but to activate it, you go to File, and you go to Options, and you go to Customize Ribbon, and you should see a list of the developer and the help. For the Power Pivot, then you have to go to File and go to Add-ins. But I didn't touch on those because it's out of the scope of this course. This is a beginner course. You understand?
Okay.
I'm not the developer is basically for those that want to program, that want to write VBA code, and want to do stuff like that. That's not what this class is.
I'm just asking, just for me to be able to try and see if I could add something on my own.
Yeah, but that's it. To add the developer tab, just go to File, go to Options, go to Customize Ribbon, and you should see yours will most likely not be checked. So you have to just check it. I press OK. Yeah.
I clicked on File and I'm not seeing the option side there.
If you click on File, you should see options. Now you see Account, Feedback, and then Options below it.
I'm seeing Accounts, but I'm not seeing the option leg though.
You're not seeing Options.
Okay, I can see it is on more.
No. So once you click on Options, you go to File, go to Options, go to Customize the ribbon, because like I said, that's called the ribbon. You see all the tabs. Like if, for instance, now there's another tab that's even hidden on mine, Draw. I don't need it, so I'm not putting it on. So that's okay. But like I said, that's for an advanced class.
No problem. Thank you so much.
No problem. Okay, moving on. So I'm assuming there's no other question. If there is, you can feel free to ask.
Please, I want to ask Mr. Dayo, that save as and save, are they the same thing or they are different things?
Okay, so again, save. What save does is that saves. Okay, save saves the workbook you're working on your system. So let's assume I've been working on a file and I've not saved it. Once I press Ctrl S, that saves. Or I can go to File and click on Save here. That will save, right? What Save As does, it does a number of things actually, but the major thing is that it helps you to save a copy of this file. For instance, let me do a Save As and create another copy of this file. If I go to File, Save As, or like I said, the shortcut is F12. If I press F12, It's going to ask me for the file name. I can call it another name. Let me say version 2 or something, right? And I can even change the type. Let's say I want to save it as a PDF, but that's getting to this. Let's just assume that basically I just want to save another version of the same workbook. So if I press save now, I've saved another version. That other one is still on my system. Now I have another copy of the file with a new name, and any change I make to this one is going to be on this workbook, and it's not going to be on that other workbook. I hope that is clear. Hello?
Oh, yes, yes.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
any other questions, please? All right, if there are none, let's move on. So that's your screen. The file type, this I'm just going to run through it. So basically, I just wanted to, for those that are curious, I want to know what all these things mean: home, new, open, info, and everything. So home creates templates, new opens, new creates new workbooks, open this. Let me just show you my Excel and just go through them very, very briefly. It doesn't, so home, you have your recent files. Like for instance, I can see that I've opened a file called Excel for Beginners. If I click on it, it's going to open, and I can also create some templates from here. New creates new workbook or new templates, like I explained before when I started. Open shows you this again. So like I said, these things will be different based on the version of Excel that you have. You might not have something exactly like this, but the general idea is what it does. Info here gives you information about the workbook. So for instance, when I'm working, one thing I always come here to, I always come and check the size of my workbook. I can check so for instance, I can know how best to create a workbook or a template so that it's not going to be too heavy. I always come here. If I'm creating, I just come to file, file, then info. I can see the size of my workbook here. So I can know maybe I want to delete something, or I can know how many pivot tables I want to create or stuff like that. You can also protect your workbook from here. You can also do some other things, but that's beyond the scope of. Here is save. Here is the save as dialog that we explained. If you want to save a copy of your workbook, this is print. I'm going to come here, hopefully towards the end of the class, if we can get there, because I'm trying to check time. So here are some printing options if you want to print, and we'll see how we can maneuver this thing. Here is share. We don't really use this. I personally don't really use, but basically if you want to share your workbook. So you can share your workbook if your Excel is connected to your Outlook. You can send a copy. Once I click on this, my Outlook will open, and I can send an Excel copy of this exact workbook as a what's it called, as an attachment. So I can say, okay, I'm sending it to XYZ, and I just share it immediately. Or I can send as a PDF. Like I said, again, based on your version. If you're not on the latest version, you most likely will not see you most likely will not see these options. Okay. Exports, basically the same thing, but this one is to create a PDF and to change the file type. Publish, we're not going to work on this. This is for those that have a Power BI service. You can create a workbook and then publish it on Power BI. Yeah, that's possible. But we're not working on that today. And of course, if you want to close the work, once I click on this, the workbook will close. So that's basically about that. And that's not the juicy part. I want us to get to the juicy part quickly, but that's what I don't want you to miss anything, which is why I'm trying to be semi-fast and semi-slow. Is there any other question? Okay, no questions. So, working with worksheets. Now, this is the first sweet part as far as I'm concerned. Working with worksheets. So to add a new sheet, click on the plus button. So basically, remember I said, this is a book and you have pages. So this is the sheet. I can click on this, but I've added another sheet. Click on it. I can add as many sheets as I like. Can add plenty sheets. That's what that does. All right, I think that's clear. Next, to select multiple sheets. Now you can hold Shift or Control when selecting. Okay, now let's assume I have plenty sheets. Remember, these are worksheets, and I can come here, I can type something, I can do, this sheet could be maybe a sheet for finance. This other sheet might be a sheet for something else. Let's say I don't need all these plenty sheets. I want to delete them, right? I can either right click and be deleting one by one, or I can select all these sheets at once. I'm going to go through this right click menu one after the time, one after the other. But for now, just understand that if I want to select multiple sheets, I can click on this sheet. I'm holding control down. Again, I assume everybody knows where control is on the system. I'm holding control that I can click. Now I can see that these two sheets are highlighted, meaning that these two sheets have been selected. If I come to the header here, I'll see something called group, meaning that these two sheets have been selected. I can click on this other sheet here. I can click on another sheet here. Now I've grouped, I held control while clicking. Make sure you hold control. If I click any other sheet, my selection goes away. Again, let's say I want to do something to sheet 2, sheet 4, and sheet 10. I click on sheet 2. I hold control down, click on sheet 4. I'm still holding control, and I click on sheet 10. Now, one thing you must notice is that once you have selected all these sheets, whatever you do to one sheet will be done to all the sheets you have selected. So for instance, I'm currently on sheet 10. Let me type hello here. Okay, and click away. If I go to sheet 4, I'll see the hello I typed. If I go to sheet 2, I'll see the hello I typed. So a fast way to do something. Oh, okay, I can see somebody here making a comment saying we should take care of people on MacBook OS. Okay, so there is the synergy between Excel for Windows and Excel for OS has not really been perfect. And if you are on a MacBook, there are some things that I'm mentioning that will not apply to you. Most of the things that I'm mentioning will definitely apply to you, but some things will not apply to you. And it's because they've not programmed it that way. So there's really nothing I can do about it. So I guess the similarities will be where I say enter, yours will be command instead of enter. That's as far as I can tell for the MacBook OS. But I think most things will be similar. Most things will be similar, but some things will not work. Some things will not work. So that's a given. So that's not about that. Honestly, to get the best experience of Excel, you have to be on a Windows PC. You get the best experience of Excel because there are some things that you just cannot do on a Mac, but you can do on a Windows PC. So that's that. Back to talking about sheets. So I said to select multiple sheets, hold control. And whatever I do to any sheet will be done to all the sheets I've selected. Okay, so we take that sheet part again. That's what I'm just doing. So I said to select multiple sheets. To select multiple, this is sheet 1, this sheet 2. Remember, to add, I can just click on this plus item and just be adding as many sheets as I want. It's my choice, right? But let's assume that I want to select more than one. I want to select sheet 2, and I want to select sheet 4, I want to select sheet 8. I'll select the first one, I've selected it. I'm holding control down, I go to sheet 4, I select. Now I've selected 2 sheets. Holding control down, I go to sheet 8 and I select. Now I'm selected 3 sheets, right? And on selecting these sheets, anything I do, let's say I come here and I type, how are you? By the time I go to sheet 4, I'll see the same how are you. By the time I go to sheet 2, I'll see the same how are you. And to deselect it, you can either right click and on group sheets or select any of the non-selected sheets. Once I select this one, I've deselected that. So that's one way of selecting multiple sheets. Another way of selecting multiple sheets is to select conjoined sheets. In other words, let's assume I wanted to select from sheet 2. Let's say, for instance, as I'm teaching you now, I really don't need all these sheets. I just created these new sheets for demonstration purposes. Let's say I wanted to delete all these sheets from sheet 2 down to sheet 10. Normally, I should hold control and start selecting like this, selecting one by one. That's one way of doing it. But to select a string of sheets that are together on the same row, just select the first sheet, hold shift down. That's S-H-I-F-T. You're holding shift now, not control. Select the first sheet, hold shift down, go to the last sheet, and then select. Well, what I've done is I've selected all these sheets from sheet 2 down to sheet 10. Again, I want to select all the sheets from sheet 2 to sheet 10. I want to select them one by one. I'm holding control and I'm selecting, holding control and I'm selecting. That's holding control. But if I want to select everything at a stretch, go to the first sheet, hold shift down, not control, shift, and go to the last sheet. Let's say I want to just move from sheet 2 to sheet 7. So go here and then boom, I've selected that. And of course, like I said, to unselect, just click on any other sheet or right click and then on group. If you want to select all the sheets, you can right click and you can see it here, select all sheets. Then right click on group sheets. So that's that about that. Now, I believe what I've just explained is clear. Okay, no questions. Great.
Check.
Great. So moving on. Now, I said you should right click on a sheet for more options. Right click on a sheet for more options. So we're going to go through all these options, one by one. I think they are very, very important. The first option here is to insert a sheet. Now, like I said, there are many easy ways of doing things. I don't know why they have to also create hard ways of doing things. Instead of clicking this plus sign, imagine I have to right click, go to insert, then now select the kind of worksheet I want to select, and I press OK. No, don't do that. Never, please. Never go here. Just click on this plus sign and you insert a sheet. Now, to delete a sheet, you can right click and you see it here, delete sheet. So like I said, let's say this sheet 2 to sheet 10, I really don't need them. Again, I'm selecting sheet 2. I'm going to sheet 10. I'm holding shift, select sheet 10. Then now I right click and I can see here, delete, and boom. It's going to give me a dialog by saying, you will permanently delete this. So you have to be careful. Any data that is in any of these sheets will be gone forever. There's no undo. If you delete a sheet, there's not like Control Z to undo, not like that. So before you delete a sheet, always ask yourself, do I really want to delete this sheet? So once I press delete, all those sheets are gone, all at once. Okay. I'm believing that is clear.
It's clear, sir.
Okay, moving on. The next thing we want to look at. Yeah, so I said we're going to look at the right click. If I right click, rename, please, like I said, don't ever right click and go to rename and now call it data or whatever. Just double click. To rename a sheet, double click on the sheet, and type, hello there. There's a limit on the size of the sheet though. So most likely you want to give the sheet a descriptive name. Maybe I can call this input sheet and stuff like that. So right click, rename, don't do that. The second thing that next one, this move or copy. Let's assume that I've created this sheet and I want to create another sheet with this exact same thing. There are many things I can do. I can right click and go to this move or copy. I don't know, like I said, there are many. I don't know why Excel is this convoluted, but I mean, thank God that there are hacks for doing these things. So I want to create another input sheet here. So what I'm going to do, right click, go to move or copy, create a copy, right? I click on create a copy and I press OK. What that does, now you can see there's another sheet called input sheet 2. So it has the exact same thing as this one, right? Let me call. Hello, Shay, do you have a question? Okay, I think she just joined. All right. Okay, so like I said, to copy a sheet, you have to right click, move, select, create a copy, and then OK. So I've created another copy of this sheet. Now let me call this one copy 2. Again, I just double click, and then let me call it copy 1. Okay, let's assume that I want to put copy 2 after copy 1. That's called move. Now I'm not copying, I want to just move it. I want this copy 1 to come before copy 2. Again, the long boring method is to right click, go to move or copy, but don't select it. It's asking you move it before which sheet. So just select this input sheet. So I'm going to move, I'm moving copy 2 in between copy 1 and input sheet. I'm going to say before sheet, input sheet, and press OK. And now I've moved it. Let's assume I have plenty. Let me insert plenty sheets. Okay. So let's assume I right click on this input sheet. I go to move or copy, and I want to move this input sheet to the last place here. I can click on move to end and click OK. Now I've moved it. Well, please, you can feel free to delete that knowledge from your head, because I don't believe anybody should ever have to do that again. To move a sheet, just select the sheet and drag. So I'm going to left click. I want to move this input sheet from here to the top here. I'm just going to left click, and I'm going to just move, and release. And that's all. Don't bother going any right click, move or copy. That's long, boring way. I can just click on this and move it here. I can click on this. As I'm moving it, you see that there's a black arrow. That's showing me where it's going to be. So if I release it, that's where it's going to be. If I move it, I can move it to the end here and that. What if I want to copy? Well, I'll do the exact same thing, but this time I'm going to hold Control. If I want to copy, so I'm going to click on this copy one. I'm holding Control now. Now I'm clicking and I'm moving. If you click on it, you'll see that on that, what's it called? There's a little plus sign. If I release it, now I've created a copy of this. Again, I want to create a copy of the input sheet. I'm holding Control down. I'm clicking on it. I'm moving to where I want to put the copy, and I release my mouse. And there you go. I've created a copy. I'm hoping that what I've just explained is clear. Or if it's not clear, let somebody let me know. I can repeat it again.
It's not clear, please.
It's not clear. Okay, let's take that again. I said there are two ways of moving sheets. Two ways, and there are two ways of copying. The first way of moving a sheet is to right-click on the sheet, go to move or copy, select where you want to move the sheet to. So in this case, I'm moving input sheet 2. Let's say I want to move it to the end. I can click on move to the end. If I want to create a copy, I'll click on this create a copy. If I don't want to create a copy, I just want to move it. I won't click on create a copy, and I do OK. Like I said, the best way to learn these things is if you have Excel right in front of you. If you are just on your phone watching it, you might just have it in your head, but you will need the experiential knowledge of actually doing it for you to be able to get it right. Okay, so I said instead of doing that, just click on the sheet, left click with your mouse on the sheet. Make sure you don't left click on this. Make sure you left click on the sheet and just move around to where you want it to be, and then release your mouse. That has moved it. To copy it, do the same thing, but this time hold down your control on your keyboard. Hold down your control. So if I hold Control down, I click on it, and I move here, and I release my mouse. I've created a copy of that sheet. Is it clear now?
Yes, it is. Thank
you very much. You're welcome. So that's that. Again, I don't need, okay, so the next thing we're looking at, if I right click on a sheet, what is the next thing? The next thing is view code. We're not going into this. This is for VBA. You can write VBA on a sheet, but we're not doing that in this class. This is a beginner's class. Next thing is to protect the sheet. We're going to get there very soon. You can just, so to protect the sheet, I can right click and go to protect sheet. If I click on it, it asks me for a password. If I press OK, this should be protected, but we're going to talk about that later. Then tab color. You can change the tab color of a sheet. Just right click on it, change the tab color. Maybe I like this color. If I click away, it has that color. Let's say this from this copy 1 to this EP sheet 2, I want all of them to be black. So again, I click on copy 1. I'm holding shift, click on this. That selects all the sheets. Right click, tab color, black, and there you go. Chicken now. That's for tab color. Then hide. Of course, you can hide sheets. Let's say I don't want to see this sheet and I don't want to delete it. I want to send this sheet out to somebody. I don't want the person to see the sheet, but I don't want to delete the sheet because the sheet is necessary for my workbook. I just need to right click on it and then delete. Right click on it, delete. Right click on it. I said delete, hide rather, hide. Not delete, oh, sorry, hide. So those sheets are still there, but they are hidden. To unhide them, again, right click on the sheet. Now you see the unhide button. You click on it, you will see the list of all the sheets that have been hidden. Just select the one you want to see. I wish there was a way we could unhide many sheets at once. but there's no simple way of doing it. The only way to do it is through VBA. You select the sheet you want to unhide, and okay, that's all. Right click, unhide, input sheet, okay. So anytime you get if I'm working on anything, maybe someone just sends me a workbook, the first thing I do most times is I right click and I see if this unhide button is not grayed out. Right now, unhide is grayed out, which means there's no hidden worksheets. All the worksheets I'm seeing, that's all the worksheets. But once I hide this sheet, for instance, if I right click, I can see that unhide is no more grayed out, meaning that there is a worksheet that's hidden. So I always try to unhide it so that I know exactly what I'm working with. Oh, okay, last thing is select all sheets, and I think that's clear. Any questions so far?
Okay, Prof, I have a question on this
Okay.
On hiding sheet.
Okay.
You're hiding a sheet. Let's say you want to send a sheet and you have okay, let's say you want to send a copy of a workbook to someone and you have so many sheets there and you want the person to see just one sheet. So if you hide other sheets will show, but the person will not be able to see those work on the sheet.
Yes, except the person unhides those sheets.
Okay. Or except the person that I send it to, or you that send the work.
No. So let me try to understand your question. Let's assume I have all these sheets, right? But I only want to send this input sheet 3 to the person. I don't want the person to see all these other sheets, right?
Exactly.
So there are many things you can do. The first thing you can do is that you can hide every other one. So for instance, I want to send this sheet. So I can click here, control. I'm holding shift now. I click here, right click, hide. Click here, right click, and hide. Right? Now I can send this to the person. When the person receives this sheet, the person can now right click, and if the person knows that, oh, there might be hidden sheets, the person can right click and unhide those sheets.
Okay.
You understand? There is a way to ensure that the person cannot even see the sheet at all. But that has to do with VBA. And like I said, this is a beginner course. We're not doing VBA, but it's possible.
Okay.
You understand? I think that's clear.
That's clear.
Yeah. So again, for instance, now I put myself in Wahala, because now, if I didn't know VBA, the only way to unhide all these sheets is to be unhiding them one by one. I have to click on this one. Okay, blah, blah, blah. But thank God that there's VBA, and I actually have a VBA script here. Once I click on it, it unhides all the sheets. Like I said, this is a beginner class. I'm not going to explain to you how I did that. Just know that it's an advanced level, something. When you come for the VBA class, we'll discuss them. Okay, so we have gone through with how to add a new sheet, how to select multiple sheets, and how to right click on a sheet and look at options of the sheet.
Please, what is
any other question? Yes, I'm listening to you.
What is VBA?
VBA is programming in Excel. Okay. Excel can allow you to program. You can actually program on Excel.
Okay.
Yes, but we're not doing that in this class.
Okay.
All right. Okay. No other questions? We're moving on. Finally, data entry. How to enter data into Excel. You said it is VBA, not BBA. It is visual. Let me type it. VBA, Visual Basic for Applications. That's what it is, VBA. So it's a programming language for Excel. PowerPoint has its own, Word has its own, but most people use VBA for Excel because Excel, like I said, is a beast, can do so many things. So, but we're not going to even touch VBA in this class. That's why I didn't want to show you how to open the developer tab, because you can see here, click on the Visual Basic, but we're not doing that in this class. So let's just move to the other things we're doing. Okay, data entry. This is where it gets really interesting. Well, I'm sure it has been interesting so far, but let's move on. So the first thing, you need to understand the concept of cell and the concept of ranges. And I see a lot of people make mistake. They don't understand how to work with a cell or how to work with a range and how those things are intertwined. So each box here is a cell. This is a cell. This is a cell. Let me open my list. Let me open a new a new sheet. So in this sheet, I think I have some new, let me delete this. I have some empty sheets here. Okay, let's use this empty sheet. Let's go to 150. I'll make my zoom 150. Okay, now in this sheet, I have various cells. My cursor, I'm moving around, I'm selecting different cells now. This is a cell, this is a cell, this is a cell, this is a cell. And we said that the cell can be seen, the name of the cell can be seen by the title in the name, but you always have the row and then the column. So this is cell E3. If I move here, this is I8, and that is that. Okay, that's the cell. A range is a collection of cells. So in this diagram here, I've selected B2 to C4. Now, I need to explain that you can select cells in many ways. Like I'm selecting in my mouse, I'm just clicking, that's what I'm doing. I can also select by moving my arrow keys. I'm pressing right, I'm pressing left, up and down. I'm moving from cell to cell, okay? Now, I can select a range with my mouse, and I can also select a range with my keyboard, depending on what. So for instance, I can select from, let's say I want to select from B2 to E10. So I go to B2, I click and drag, left click, not right click, left click and drag to E10. Now I've selected that range, B2 to E10. I can select range G6 to, maybe let's say G6 to, I can select something like this. I can move it down. I can select like this, like that, like that. I can select as many as and I can just release it like that. Another way of selecting is to use Shift plus arrow. So I can hold here, and I'm holding Shift now. I'm holding Shift, and I'm pressing right. See what happens. I'm selecting multiple cells. If I hold Shift and I'm pressing down, I'm selecting multiple cells like that. All right. That's another way of selecting. Very important. Now, yes. Timilen has a question. Okay, just unmuted. So the active cell, yes, exactly. In a range, you have what we call the active cell. The active cell is the highlighted cell, and we're going to look more into that when we move on. Now, you can also select non-continuous cells by holding Control. So I told you that I can hold Shift and select. I'm pressing down, left, I'm holding Shift. Let's say I want to select this cell, and I also want to select this cell. I can hold Control now, and I can just select Control. I'm holding Control to select all these ranges. Just the same way you can use Control to select multiple sheets. You can also use Control to select multiple cells and multiple ranges. Okay? Like again, I'm assuming that all of us are on our laptop. Yes. Someone is asking if the recorded version will be shared. Yes, it will. Somebody has a question?
Yes, so I'm trying it and I'm not getting it. The control, how to use control to select multiple cells.
Are you using a mouse or a laptop, or you're using a trackpad?
Am I using what? I'm using a laptop.
Mouse? You're using a laptop, okay. So select a range like this, just like I've selected. You can do this, have you?
Yes.
Now hold Control down.
Okay.
While holding Control down, click on another cell, another range.
Okay.
I think that's clear. So while holding Control down, you can click on as many ranges as you want. I'm holding Control down all through this clicking. I'm selecting different places. Sometimes you just want to select some places and just do something. The thing is, as I've selected all these places, whatever I do to any cell is going to affect every cell I've selected. You understand? So that's why we want to do something like that. All right. Any other question? I think that's clear. So somebody asked if this recorded version will be shared. Yes, it will, and it will also be on the YouTube page, Zen Consults without a space, just Zen Consult join together. In fact, we're live right there right now. So once we're done, the video is going to be there, and you can always go back and rewatch various parts of this training. Okay, moving on. So that's how to select non-contiguous cells. Now, types of data. We have different types of data. in Excel. This is not all, but at least let's look at this. The first type of data is called the numeric data. That's just numbers, right? And you have 1, 2, 3, 4, any kind of number. By default, numbers are aligned to the right. So let me bring up my Excel. Let me just type in any number. So once I type in, maybe let's say I say 1, 2, 3, 1. You see that Excel aligns it to the right. Most times that's a visual cue that this is a number. Okay, sometimes you copy some things, maybe you're working in an office and they send you a mail, and in the body of the mail there's a table that has numbers. Sometimes you copy those numbers and you paste in Excel. It's not right aligned. That shows that it's not a number. That's the meaning most times. So sometimes you just have to double click and they come out again and then it becomes a number. So numbers are right aligned, and you can use numbers for direct math operation. Text is left aligned and cannot be used for math operations. We'll get to that very soon. But let's look at an example of text. If I type my name, for instance, my name is Dio. So you see, left aligned, right aligned. Let me escape. So this is number, this is a text. Now, some people always get this issue. So for instance, imagine the name of my company. I want to write Zen Consults Financial Statements. Watch this. Zen Consults Financial Statements. Right? Now, as I've typed this, look at this. It looks as if what I've typed is in multiple cells, but it's not. What I've typed is only sitting in cell A1. And how do I know? If I click on cell A1 and I look at the formula bar, what do I see? Zen Consults Financial Statements. That's what I see here. If I go to cell B1, I will see that it's empty. There's nothing in the formula bar. So the reason why I'm seeing it across those cells is because there's nothing there. If I type something there, let me just type X, you see that it gets shut off. It gets cut off. So it doesn't mean that I've truncated it. What is there is still there. It just shows that I need to expand the column so that it can show. Now, how do you expand columns? I'm trying to be not to be too forward. Again, remember, this is column A, column B, column C, column D, column E, column F. This is cell row 1, row 2. These are rows. These are columns. In this case, I've put in the text here, and it's too long. It's longer than this column. I can go in between the columns. I'm moving my cursor. I'm going in between A and B. Then I'll see this symbol, this kind of cross. I don't know what to call this symbol. Once I click on this and I drag, I need to drag some more. Now I've opened the column such that it has enough space to take in this information. What I just did now, I hope it's clear. Because sometimes you type in some things and you think it is spilling into other cells. It's not. It's just because there's nothing there. If I delete what is here now, it will be as if this thing I put in column A is spilling. It's not spilling. There is a way to make it spill, but we're not there yet. Okay. With that backdrop, like I said, this is numbers. This is a number. This is a numeric value, and this is text. Okay, dates. You can also put dates in Excel, and most people don't know how to put dates in Excel. And most people don't know how to work with dates in Excel. We're going to work with dates, but not in this class, because dates is a very special kind of data type in Excel. But generally, you put in dates based on your system settings. For instance, my own system settings, let me do this. Let me show the factual. Okay. My system setting here is the month, then day, then year. That's the way my system setting is. So that's the way I have to type in date in Excel. So for instance, today's date is 9. So I can type 9. Sorry, today's date is October 9th, 2021. So I have to type, most of us, when we are writing, we type the day before the month. But in Excel, it's mostly month/day/year. Oh, sorry, that's not the spell year. right? So the month is 10/9/2021. So that maybe I can just expand this. Now I've put in as a date. This is a date in Excel, and Excel understands how this date works. If I put 12/31/2021, that's the last day of this year. Now watch this. If I put 31/12/2021, this is left aligned. It is left aligned because it is text. Because Excel does not recognize this as a date. In other words, Excel doesn't, there's no month, there's no 31st month of the year. Because in my own system, it is month before the day before the year. That's where my system is. So I have to put the 31, the 12 first, before the 31, and before the year. Is that clear, please? I hope that is clear. Because many people actually have this. So for instance, somebody wants to say the 5th of January. You write 5/1/2021. Now, this is not the 5th of January. This is actually May 1st. They are the same thing. These two are the same thing. To write the 5th of January, I have to select 1/5. I hope that is okay. So Chidi has his hand up. Yes.
Okay. I want to ask. You said according to your system, what you have is as the month/day/year.
Yes.
What if on the system setting you have it the other way around? The day/month/year.
Yes.
Can you
then
still go ahead and
no.
on your system setting?
You have to use your system. So if you have day/month/year, you have to use day/month/year on your Excel. You know what? To find out, type 12/31/2021, and then type 31/12. Sorry, 31/12. 2021. Anyone that is left aligned, that shows that that's your system setting. The one that is the one that is right aligned, rather, this one that is right aligned, show that this is a date. This is a date. This one that is left aligned, Excel has turned it to text because Excel cannot deal with this as a date. I hope that answers your question.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. So Excel works with date, and because of that, Excel can use date math. Can do date maths. We're not going to go into that today. But date is a very, very the same thing with time. Excel can also work with time. So I said here that the first Excel date is 1st of January 1900. That's the first date that Excel recognizes. Excel does not recognize any dates before that time, right? And calculations on dates are based on the number of days from that years. Okay, dates are treated as numbers and as right aligned. Okay, I've explained that. Time. So the same thing with time. So to enter in a time, an Excel time, you put in the R column. So it's R column month. Then you can put a space. R column minutes. If you want, you can also put column second, but most people don't really use second like that. So you can put a space, and you can either type AM or PM. If you want it, if it is in the morning, type AM. You have to put that space. Very, very important. If it is even type PM, and that gives you a time in Excel. If you don't put AM or PM, it's going to use the normal 24-hour day. So for instance, let me give an example. If I want to do 5:30 in the morning, I can type 5:30 space AM. Watch this. You see the way Excel capitalizes my AM for me and right aligns it. That shows that that is a valid time in Excel, right? And if I do 5:30 and I don't put space, you see it's left aligned, meaning that Excel doesn't recognize this as time. You have to put space before the AM or PM. For some of you, it might not be important, but if you are someone that maybe you keep track of dates or you keep track of information in time with date and time, and it's very, very important to you, this will be very, very important. To for in-depth discussion on how to work with date and date mass, we're going to have a class in the future. We are going to deal with some very, very nice functions and everything, but we're not going to do that. This is just, like I said, fundamentals class, just for you to understand how to do things in Excel and not be confused if you see an Excel sheet. Okay. No question on that, I'm guessing. The last one is Boolean. Okay, somebody has a question? Yes.
Yeah, for that time that you talked about now,
Yes.
if the one that you typed in small letter for the AM, can it still be small letter and then there's space after the time?
Yes, there has to be space. Look at this, watch this. 6:15. I have to put a space, PM. Whether what I just typed now is capitalized, it doesn't matter. Excel will capitalize it for me.
Oh,
That is Excel way of letting me know that it accepts this as a time. You understand? If I like this one now, Excel did not capitalize it for me. That knows that I've written rubbish here. This is not time. Excel doesn't accept this as time. Yeah, is that clear?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Any other question? One more thing, I said that if you don't put in the time, so if I just type maybe 13, if I just type 100, this is 1. Look at the formula bar. The formula bar says 100 AM because I didn't put anything. If I just put 14 that column 00, it's going to assume it is 2 PM on the formula bar. So just to clarify that. But we're going to go deeper into that in future classes where we do date functions, time functions, and the rest like that. Okay, Boolean. Yes, I'm going to explain Boolean. So Boolean is just true or false, and it's basically a more advanced thing for. Okay, somebody's saying. Yes, question.
Sorry to take you back. Okay, so you just did the 14 and 00. So on the formula bar, it shows 2 PM. 2 PM. Does it mean that it's not necessary that we put this PM if we're talking about time?
Yeah, it's not necessary. You just need to know. So the thing is, if you know what you are doing, it's not necessary. For instance, now, as I can know that 15.31 is 3:31. Yeah. Now, another person says 3:31 and press enter. Is this 3:31 AM or 3:31 PM? Excel recognizes that AM. So before you can do this, you need to be sure of what you are actually trying to achieve. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not compulsory, but you need to know what you are doing. You need to know that, okay, if it's beyond 12, it's going to be in PM. If it's below 12, it's going to be in AM. Or you can just state it out yourself.
Okay.
Is that clear?
Yes.
All right. All right. Any other question, please? Okay, somebody said here on my system is converting date this and I input this. And it shows that that's how your system is configured. If you type in this and it becomes immediately left and right aligned, it shows that your system takes date/month/year. For my own system, it is month/day/year. That's how that works. Different systems settings for different people. Okay, I should have bought water outside. Moving forward quickly. Any other question? We most likely will not be able to finish this class today because I plan on having. How do I change the settings? No. You just go with your system settings. To change your system, you have to go to your control panel and you have to go and tinker with the settings of your system, not Excel. Excel will only take the setting from your system. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Any other question? Good. I'm assuming, like I said, for those of us that have been following along, I'm sure most of the things I've been doing, you'll most likely be able to reproduce them again tomorrow. But for those that have not been following along, it might be hard because just watching a video is not enough to learn Excel. You have to practice. You just have to practice. Okay, so those are the types of, I was going to give an example of Boolean. Boolean is either true or false. That's basically what Boolean means. So if I type TRUE, I press enter, Excel will center align it and make a capital letter. You might not know what this means now or why it is important. So if I type false here, Excel will do the same thing. We're not going to go into deep. When we get to Can VBA retain and distinct your date settings to differ from Excel? I'm sure it can, but I've not really made research on that. I've not really made research on that. But most likely, there's VBA is like all these things. VBA is like the Excel itself. You have capacity to do and undo. Just need to know what you're doing. And it's a very, very advanced thing. So that's that. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome. Moving forward. So I said this is an example. You can see the number left aligned, text. Sorry, number is right aligned. Everything that is number is always right aligned. Date is right aligned. This is right aligned. The Boolean is in the middle. Then text is left aligned. All right, entering data into cells. Now, first thing you need to know, first rookie mistake that people don't know is that I listed 3 of them. Number 1, any form of typing inserts text into the active cell. You need to know what the active cell is. So once my cell is here, anything I type immediately goes into that cell. Very, very important. Now, the second thing is that typing over a cell immediately replaces the content of the cell. So that's why you need to be careful when you get a file that has formulas. If you click, let me just do let me think of a very simple formula now. Let me just use round between or something. Round array, 3 rows and 2 columns. Don't worry if you don't understand what I just did. Don't worry about it. It's kind of what I've done is I'll put a formula here, right? Now that formula is creating random numbers. If I type into this place, boom, that formula is gone and it has been replaced with the new thing I type, as long as I select where that formula is and I type on it. So when you receive when you have a file, you should always be very careful of typing over something. Once you type, like this is this now, if I type hi, what I typed before has gone. What I've just typed has been replaced with it. So one has to be careful. And then next thing, once typing starts, Excel goes into edit mode. Yes. So look down here. If you can look down on your status bar towards the right, you see the word ready. Once I start typing, I'll see the word enter. Now this enter allows me, when what we call edit mode, you can see most of the things here have been graded. If I go to home, some things have been graded out because I'm still inside this tab. Inside this cell. I'm still typing inside this cell. I can see the image clinging and everything. I'm still inside the cell. You need to understand the difference between when you are inside the cell and when you have selected the cell, right? So if I press enter now, I'm out of edit mode and you can see everything is back to the way it was. So here's a simple table to know something. Number 1, enter. Once you press enter, you leave the selected cell and you move down. So for instance, I'm going to type here revenue. Again, let me go there. I'm typing, I go to cell A3, I've selected cell A3, I'm typing revenue. I have not yet typed it into the cell. I've not yet, you can see the cursor is still blinking. I'm still in edit mode, everything here is still grayed out. It's still showing enter here. If I press enter now, boom, I've now entered something into this cell and my selection cursor has moved down. That my active cell rather has moved down. Shift enter, move the selected cell up. So maybe I want to type something here. Maybe I want to type Gmail. If I don't want to move down, if I press shift and enter, I've moved up instead of moving down. Just in case you want to do, in case somebody might need that someday. If I'm typing and I press tab, I move to the right. Again, I want to assume that all of us know what tab is. Tab is above caps lock. If I type again and I press shift tab, I move to the left. In fact, without typing, yes. Okay, nobody's asking a question. Without typing, if I just press enter, I'm moving down. If I press shift and enter, I'm moving up. If I press tab, I'm moving to the right. If I press shift and tab, I move to the left. Okay. Now, note another thing you must understand. If I'm typing in a cell, I'm in edit mode, like right now. If I press any of the arrows, I will move out of that cell just by typing any of the arrows. Okay, so let's keep all that in mind. Control enter. Now, what if I typed something and I don't want to move down, move up, or move left. Like now, if I type this, if I press down, my selection will move down. If I type this, if I press tab, let's say I want to come out of edit mode, but and I want to enter into that cell. I want to enter the value into the cell, but I don't want the cursor to move up or down, the selection to move up or down. I'll press Control Enter. So for instance, if I type go to school or something. Now I'm still in edit mode. You can see my cursor is blinking. You can see enter is showing here. All these things are grayed out here on the ribbon. I'm going to type, I'm going to type Control Enter now. I'm holding Control and I press Enter. See what has happened? I've come out of edit mode. What I wanted to be in the cell, I've entered into the cell and I'm out of edit mode. I'm in my normal mode like that. So sometimes that's what you want. Sometimes that's not what you want. It depends on what you want to do. Okay, then also, I told you, let me scroll to the right here so I have a little real estate. I told you that you can select multiple cells, right? I'm selecting this cell, I'm selecting this cell, I'm selecting this cell. If I select a range of cells, very important, watch this one. If I select a range of cells, if I press enter within that range of cells, the active cell will be moving within that range of cells. If I press tab, within the range of cells, the active cell will be moving. If I press shift tab, the same thing. If I press shift enter, the same thing, right? Now let's say, let me go to this. I want to move to this cell. Okay. If I press any of the arrow keys, I will lose my selection. All right. So again, select the range that I want. Now, let's say I want to put in the same, let's say I have 25. I want to put in the same 25 into all these places. I'll press Control and Enter. Again, select the range, put in what I want to put in, Control, Enter. It even works for non-adjacent cells. Let's say I select here and I hold Control down like we did, select this place. I'm holding Control, select here, and let's just say, hi, Dio. Now I'm going to press Control and Enter. And everywhere gets filled up what I just did. Questions, comments, confusions? Is there any?
Okay, so I have a question.
All right.
I'm going to take you back a bit, sorry. So that time you were explaining on like typing over a cell and the content of the cell changes.
Yes.
So I tried to do it and then it changed, obviously. But when I did Control Z, it went back.
Of course.
So can that work if it's like the formula you typed, that round formula you typed?
Yes,
can it work that if you do Control Z, it will go back?
The best friend of anybody that is working on any application is this guy. Control Z has saved people. That has saved me millions and millions of times. But caveat emptor, that is buyer beware. I forgot the meaning of that thing. Control Z doesn't work if you delete a sheet. For instance, let me give an example. Let's say I don't need the sheet anymore. I try to right click, delete. Yes. Now I'm pressing Control Z. Control Z is not going to go. If we delete a sheet, the sheet is gone. And for those of us that are maybe a little bit advanced, Control Z doesn't work for VBA as well. If I run a script, if I run a VBA action, I press Control Z, it's not going to undo. So yeah, if I type on something like there's a date here, if I do it goes away. If I press Control Z, it comes back. And maybe I should even say you can Control Z as many times as you want. I think up to 100 times, but you need to be careful. So someone said confusion. Okay, let's do that again. I said, first of all, different ways of entering data into a cell. This is data entry we're talking about. Let's say I want to enter text. Welcome. Okay, I'm typing on. I just click on this cell. I'm typing welcome. WELCOME. Okay. If I want to type welcome and I want the cursor to go down, I press enter. Cursor goes down. Okay. Welcome. If I want it to go to the left or to the right, I press tab to go to the right, shift tab. Now, if I want to type welcome, 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 welcome from this cell to this cell, I want to fill everything here with welcome. I can select the range beforehand type what I want to type. Now, instead of typing, if I just type enter now, it's just going to enter into that place and my selection will continue. That's not what I want. I want to enter this welcome into all the cells at once. So I'm going to type welcome into this cell. Notice it could be a formula, it could be a text, it could be a number, it could be anything. And instead of typing enter, I'm going to type control and enter. In other words, I'm holding control down and I'm pressing enter. That does that. And I said it can work for cells that are not even contiguous. If you have been with us and you have been practicing, you know that I said that you can select multiple cells that are not together. Select this one, hold control, select this, hold control. Right? Now, as I'm here, if I type hello and I press control, enter, everywhere that I've selected will get filled with that information. You would see an example of this. Oh, I don't think we can even get there today because there's quite a lot to cover. And this was supposed to be 2 hours. We're already at 2:38 already. Okay. Is it clearer now? The control enter, the pressing enter, the pressing of tab and shift tab. Is it clear? Hello?
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to be sure. Okay, so yeah, there you go. So that does that. Now, what if I want to make a correction? I want to put I want to change this slash to hyphen. I said that if I come here, one boring way to do it is to come and type over it and say month /day/year and then press enter. Now I've changed it, but I had to type everything again. What if I had a very long thing? So if you want to edit a cell, there are 3 ways, basically. The first way is to double click into the cell. That is, you move your cursor on the cell and double click. You go back into edit mode. So I can just select, just like Word, backspace, backspace, and I've edited it. Okay? The second way of editing a cell or the content, it could be a formula, it could be anything inside the cell. I want to edit what is inside. I can press F2. Let me show you here. Double click or press F2. So I come here, I press F2. That puts me into edit mode again. You can see everything is. I have to select the cell that I can change this back to this. Okay, let me put this and then this, and I've edited it. Right. The third way is to go to the formula bar. Once I click on the formula bar, I can edit from there as well. Okay. So 3 ways: double click on the cell, select the cell, press F2, or select the cell, go to the formula bar to edit the content of the cell. That could be the reason why control enter is not working. I don't understand. What could be the reason why control enter is not working? I don't know. It should work. Is somebody writing on the? I guess somebody's writing on the canvas. Okay, so I said again, select everything. If I select everything, like select the range I want, and I type in anything, don't worry. By the time we get to some examples, it will become clearer. I need to rush. But what I just said now, is it clear? How to edit a cell? I hope that one is clear. Okay, control backspace. So let's assume that I'm here. I type in something here, and I'm here, right? And then for some reason I scroll away from where my cursor, from where my active cell is. To get back to my active cell, I just press Control and backspace. It will take me back to my active cell. That's all that there is to it. And it will most likely come when you're maybe doing a formula and you have selected a very long range such that you have moved away from where you are. You can just press Control backspace to go back to where your formula is. That's clear, I'm guessing. Escape. So maybe I've started typing, maybe I click on something and I've started typing gibberish on this. But I discovered that I'm not supposed to be typing. I don't want to type on it. I can always press escape. Once I press escape, what I'm typing goes away, so it reverts back to what was there before. It's like a way of canceling a mistake if you have made a mistake. All right, that's what escape does. To prevent you from making a costly or terrible mistake. Delete. Okay, so delete just deletes the contents of a cell, not the formatting. I've not done formatting yet, so I won't go deep into that. But basically, if I click on this dial and I press the delete key, boom, it goes. It deletes the content. If it was formatted, let me just give it a yellow background, right? I type on it. If I click on delete, boom, that doesn't remove the formatting. It only deletes the content of what was there. So there's a formula there, it gets deleted, stuff like that. So I'm pressing Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z now to go back here. I'm coming. Let me see. Okay. Control arrow, yes, Control Shift arrow. This one is very, very important, and it is basically better for it's useful for knowing how to navigate a worksheet. So let me open. I sent a file. I don't know how many of us got this file. Let me put it here. I sent a data, a file like this I was supposed to use for today's class. Now this is sales data, right? Somebody has put in date, customer, product, volume, and the data goes down to row 53, right? If I'm here, now this is just 53 rows. If you're working with a very, very large data set, you could have as many as 10,000, 20,000 rows. If I want to fly to the end of this data, I don't need to be pressing one. I can't be pressing that. I can press Control and any arrow. If I press Control, I'm holding Control down, I press down now. Now I'm at the end of the data. From here, if I press Control down again, it takes me to the last row. It takes me to the last row of the sheet itself, of the Excel sheet itself. Press Control right, it takes me to, so this is basically the last cell in this worksheet. Cell XFG, 1 million, blah, 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 blah. So this is the last cell. I press Control and up, Control and left. So Control just makes me fly, from wherever I am to the next, either the next cell that is filled or the next non-empty cell, right? So that's that. I'm pressing Control, left, Control, up, Control. So let's say I have something here. From here, I can either move like this, one. So yeah, or from here I can press Control and right, Control right. That takes me there. So if you don't have that data set I talked about, you can still use this. So for instance, if I'm here, I can press Control down. That takes me here. If I'm here and I want to fly to this place, I can press Control right. That takes me here. Control. It's just a fast way of moving around. From here to the next non-empty cell, it takes me here, and stuff like that. Now, I mentioned the other time that shift allows us to select more than one cell. Okay, so if I hold shift, now I'm holding shift and I'm pressing my arrow. I'm selecting, I can select something like that. Control allows me to fly, shift allows me to select. So let me go back to this my table here. Control plus shift, what it does, it allows me to select an entire, continuous range. So if I'm here, if I'm on cell A1 now, I'm pressing just shift and down. I'm holding shift and I'm pressing down. I'm selecting them one by one, right? But if I hold shift and control and I press down, it selects everything from the top down to this last place. And remember, we said Control backspace takes you back to its active cell. So I press Control backspace. Now I'm back at the active cell. So these are just something, like I said, this class is a fundamentals class. So these are just some basic things that you will need so that when you have a very, very large data set, you can move around, you can work with it, you can make different things of that data set. Okay. Any questions on that? None. So I'm assuming that everybody is following along. Let me just check something. Copy and paste. Okay. So I think we'll stop at autofill. After autofill, we'll let you know when the next class will be, and then we'll continue from there to finish the course, because we have quite a lot that we have not even touched at all. But I'm glad that we are understanding it. Okay, so copy, cut, and paste. This one is easy, but just so you know, Control C to copy, or you can right click to copy, left click, Control drag. There are many ways of copying. Let me come back here. I want to copy this hello. Come here, select it like this. What I did was I clicked on this, I press Control Shift down. That will select everything down, and Control C to copy, or right click and copy, or go to home, then say copy here. All of the above. Then you can go to where you want to. If I want to paste it here, I can either press enter, or I can press Control V. Any of those. Control V allows me to paste multiple times, and enter will allow me to just paste once. So left click, Control plus drag. So you can also copy like that. If I select this range, let's say I want to copy this range like this. If I move my cursor to the edge of the range, I will see this four-way arrow, right? This four-way arrow. Now, if I hold Control and click on it, and I can move that range anywhere I want. Once I release it, it copies it. That's another way of copying. It's not fancy, but some people might need to use that kind of way to copy based on their uses or based on whatever they need it for. You can also use right click plus drag. So if I select this, I go to the edge again. You don't select inside. If I select inside, my selection will go. So I select the entire range and I go to the edge until I see this four-way arrow. Once you see that, it could be top, it could be anywhere. Once you see that four-way arrow, you can right click and move. Once you let go, you have a dialog box here. You can copy here, you can move here, you can copy as values, you can do a lot of things. But majorly, when I want to copy, I just select, copy, go there and press enter. That paste for me. That's fine. Okay, cut means move, and that was just Control X. Then you can also do the same, right click and cut. You can left click and drag. So let's look at the examples of cut. So let me see. Hello there. Okay, I can Control X, come here and then enter. Now I've moved from here to here. I've just copied what is here. I've just moved it from here to here. Or I can go to the edge and just click and drag and put it somewhere. Now, if I put it where there's data, it's going to give me this dialog box. There's already data here. Do you want to replace it? I say, yep. And there we go. So those are just different ways of doing the same copy and cut that is kind of paste, enter, paste once, Control V, paste more than one time. Now, there are different ways of pasting. And when we get to formulas, you will see why it's very important. But for now, it might not be that important. So if I copy this, if I select this, Control C to copy, I can right click here and I have different paste options. If these were formulas, I could paste values. I could paste just the formulas. I could transpose it. If I click on this, that transposes it. This is vertical. Now it is now horizontal. So sometimes I might need that. So based on my need, and there's also something called, okay, I'll go to get there. So right click is very, very important. You can also paste a link, or that's formulas. We'll get there when we get to formulas. Okay, so right click and select, yes, then paste special. Mostly for formulas again. When we get to advanced formulas, you can go to this. Like now, I can see that my dancing hands are still going on. I mean, I can still paste it. Meaning it's still in my clipboard. If I come here, I can still do Control V. You can come down here and go to what we call paste special. That is, go to paste, click on the drop down under paste. There's a drop down under paste, click on it. Then different paste options. Under it, you have paste special. And you can paste formulas, you can paste values, you can add or multiply, you can transpose. Many things you can do, but we're talking on that much later, not in this class. Okay. Autofill. This is what we're going to end today's class. After this, we're going to end today's class. We still have a lot of things, a lot of topics that we want to cover, but we could not cover them. We'll cover them in the next class. But let me quickly touch on autofill and then we can end today's class. Autofill is Excel's magic. For me, this was the major feature of Excel I saw that really drew me to Excel. Wow, Excel can do this. So autofill handle, the autofill handle is this black box at the edge of the selected cell. So for instance, if I click here, if I select this, there's a black box here. See this black box? Once I put my mouse over it, it turns into this small cross. That shows me I can autofill. What can it do? I said when the cursor changes shape, autofill can be used. Now, what are the use of autofill? Number one, for copying data. In other words, I can use autofill to copy. So for instance, see this LO, I can select it, go to my autofill, watch this. I move my cursor down to the edge here. I can see autofill. I can click and drag, and that copies it. I could have just copied only one. I can copy it down as well. I can type hi G or something, copy it down. So it's for copying, and also for copying formulas too. We get there. Okay. I'm assuming we are all trying this and it's working for us. That's why we're all quiet. So we understand what we're doing and it's clear. Okay. So autofill.
Yes. Sorry.
Okay, great. Great.
But I noticed that it changes for numbers.
Yeah, we're going to get there, which is what I'm about to explain. Autofill can also be used for filling cells in a pattern. You can fill cells in a pattern. So Excel knows numbers and it knows patterns. Let me give you some examples. Let me create a new, let me just open all these old worksheets. Let me make this 150. Okay. Now, let's say I want to maybe I have SN, serial number, right? And I want to type from 1 to 15. I can type 1 and then 2. And this 2 is all Excel needs to be able to create a list to 15. I need to first of all select those 2 cells because Excel needs to know what the pattern. If I don't select those 2 cells, if I just select one, I go to the autofill handle here and I drag down, it will just copy it for me. That's not what I want. I want to see 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. So I have 1 and 2, and that is enough. Once I select these 2 cells, I go to the autofill and just drag down. And I can see that it'll be changing up until, and I can drag down till I can drag down to 1,000 to, as many as I want. And it also works sideways too. Let's say let's say I want 5, 10, 15, 20. So I can say 5, then 10, right? Select the 2 of them, go to the autofill, and Excel continues that pattern for me. It could also continue patterns where there are spaces. So for instance, let's say I have name and I have space, then I have name again. I can select these 4. That is, I want name, then 3 spaces, name, 3 spaces, name, 3 spaces. I can select the first one, then leave the 3 spaces, come down here, and Excel will continue that pattern for me. As in, it's so beautiful. I love it, right? Then it could also even maybe I have step 1. Maybe I'm trying to build something in steps. Step 1. Excel can know that if I come down here, it's going to continue step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5, like that, right? You could have a N1. It can continue that trend for you. Okay, that is clear. It can also fill date-related information. In other words, if I put in 1st of January, remember, like I said, let me say date here. 1st of January, I want to enter the 1st of January into this place. I'm going to type 1/1/2021, right? That is month/day/year. If I click here, go to the autofill and drag it down, Excel is going to create a list for me of all those days. And the beautiful thing is, when it gets to the new month, it's going to move. So now I can see this is the date. First, it goes to 1. Then we have the second. This is February now. 1st of February, 2nd of February, and Excel knows it just continues that pattern for me. Now, another beautiful thing that you might not know is if I do 1/1/, let's say I want to see only the last month, the last day of each month, for instance. What's this? I put the last day of January, 1/31/2021. Okay. I click on it and I drag. Excel fills it in normally for me, but then there's a what will I call it now? See the dialog launcher here. It says autofill options. When I click on it, sorry, I need water. Let me just take a sip. Yeah. All right. So if I click on this, you can see, because first of all, note that Excel understands that this is date. Because I put the date in the right format, month/day/year. So as I drag down, Excel gave me date-related options. It's asking me, do I want to fill the weekdays? Do I want to fill the months? Do I want to fill the year? I said I want to fill the month, but okay. And now it gives me the last day of each month. So this is 31st of January, 28th of February, like that. Each the day that I start 2 days, you put the right one there for me. So I think that's really, really awesome. Excel can do that. When we get, for those of us that would register for the formulas class, that is not after this one, you'll be amazed by the various things Excel can do with date and time. It's really, really awesome. Okay. Yeah, so you can also put in days of the week. So if I type Monday here, if I drag it to the right, it fills it. If I drag it down, it fills it. So I can just fill it automatically. It could also be the months of the year. And if I type MON, M-O-N, it does the same thing. If I type January, it does the same thing. The beautiful thing, if I type February, you can just continue. You don't have to start. You don't have to start because the lists are pre-built in Excel. So for me, that's awesome about autofill. Then the last thing that autofill does is that it can fill formulas. That is, formulas can, if I type a formula, we're not there yet, but when we get there, if I type in a formula, I can just use that autofill handle to just drag it, and then the formula just gets copied. So officially, we are done with the first half of this course. And the next half, we're going to start with understanding formulas and functions. We're going to start from the basics. Or does anybody have a question? I think BB has a question.
Yes, I do.
Okay, yes.
So when I tried it, the 1/1 with the date, after 1/9/2021, I started having these hashtags.
Okay, so yeah, I should have mentioned that. So hashtags, hashtag basically means that your cell is not wide enough. Your column rather is not wide enough. As I'm seeing this hash. I just need to widen it, or I can just double click here to autofit it. That's why I've seen the hashtags.
Also,
yes,
thank you. I've done that. Also, you mentioned that like you have 2 numbers, then you highlight those numbers, then you click on autofill. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4 Excel. Then I did this 14 times 14 column 00 in Excel. So I dragged it down. 1, 2, 3, 4 remains the same, obviously because of what you mentioned that it's just 1. So it just copies that same thing because there's no sequence. However, the 1400 is also just 1. So why is it not showing 14 downwards? Why is it showing 14, 15, 16, 17?
And because 1400 is time now. This is time. So if I click it down, it's going to increase. Remember, I told you that this is time, which is why I said, if you want to work with time, it's always better you put in the PM or AM if you are not going to be confused. But anytime you do for dates and for time, you don't need to select except you want a specific pattern, you don't need to select, just click and drag, it will automatically fill it for you.
Thank you.
Exactly.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Any other questions, please? Okay, so with that, I want to So let me come here. So the next class is going to be understanding formulas and functions. We have your contact, so we'll get through to you and we'll let you know when the next class will be, also the link for the next class. And hopefully we'll be able to finish the what's it called? The beginners class. Is either going to be definitely going to be sometime this week, Sha. So, and for those of us that for some reason, maybe at some point you did not understand what we're saying, the class, the videos will be on YouTube. The videos will be on YouTube. Coming. Permit me. Okay. Yeah. So the videos are on YouTube. Just type Zen Consults. You should be able to see the videos there. This is the number of Temi that I'm gonna send out the link to those that for them to register. So if you have perhaps during the week you had an issue with Excel or anything, you can always contact any of these two numbers. Or if you have a project and you need help, you can contact these two numbers. And stay in touch, because after this beginner class, we have some other very, very interesting classes. But this class was the first class because we wanted to ensure that everybody, before we start doing some advanced VLOOKUP and advanced, index and match and what have you, you need to understand the basics of Excel and how it works and how to really, really maximize Excel as a whole. And if you enjoyed the class, please feel free to, if you're on the YouTube page, please drop a comment. You can like the video when we post it, or you can subscribe as well, please. And for those of us that have my WhatsApp number, you can just comment. Let me know if the class, if you have learned anything, if it has been helpful, if it has, if it was good, and any other comments, maybe you think we should do better in way, you can always let us know. That's our Instagram page, that's our LinkedIn page. With this, I'll be signing out. I want to say it was nice having you. You're a wonderful class. And I hope this class does well for you. Thank you, and God bless.